Hey, welcome to episode 12 of Heat and Low, where our Raiders got a statement win this last weekend, and our Vegas Golden Knights shaking up the roster for better or for worse. That's for you to decide. And you hear this instrumental playing in the background. I am a huge Ariana Grande fan. She just announced she is dropping a brand new album this month. I thought I'd pay homage to her. Otherwise, say thank you next. So our Las Vegas Raiders picked up a key win this last weekend. Their first divisional game, it comes against the former Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Raiders went into Arrowhead and gave the Chiefs their first loss. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes, but I believe Derek Carr outplayed him. Derek Carr finished 22 of 31 with 347 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have one interception. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, was 22 of 43, 2 TDs and 1 interception. So both quarterbacks did throw an interception. I got to say with Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he's magical, and he just flings the ball up there, and it's just like, all right, hey, one of you guys is going to catch it. Sometimes, they can come back to haunt him, but for the most part, he's very accurate. But like I said, I think Derek Carr played very well, and you can argue in all 5 games thus far, he's played well in all the games. It's really been the defense that has been the major factor. And again, they gave up 32 points, but the Chiefs, a high-scoring offense, I mean, it's kind of understandable. And I thought this was a huge win for the Raiders, especially in the division. Remember, I said they were going to finish second in the division to the Chiefs. I still believe that, but I do think kind of getting them a leg up and showing, hey, the Chiefs aren't invincible and we're something to be reckoned with, I think is key. Henry Ruggs, I don't know if you saw, had a huge catch. And I mean, he really kind of went up, grabbed it. It was incredible. He, I think, is going to be an Amari Cooper-esque type player. Hopefully the Raiders don't make the same mistake that they did with Amari Cooper with him, because I think he's going to be a receiver to reckon with. He is something special. I can see it. I watched his games at Alabama, and I mean, he's got speed. He's got all that. He had a touchdown in the game. So did Darren Waller and Nelson Aguilar. Those were Derek Carr's 3 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs finally getting back into it. He scored 3 touchdowns, ending a 3-game drought. He didn't score. Remember, the last time he scored was in week 1, where they won their opener, and then he hasn't scored a touchdown since. So, and that was my key last week, was you need to get Jacobs back into it, back into the fold of everything, and they did. And so I'm glad to see that, because again, I think Derek Carr, he has all the weapons he needs. He's been playing well, so hopefully he continues to do that. The defense, again, Max Crosby did have a sack on Patrick Mahomes, so they have good stints, but I think overall they just need to be more consistent if this Raiders team wants to, make a playoff push. And I believe they can. I believe they have the talent. I believe, again, I think Derek Carr knows in the back of his mind, this is a make it or break it year for me. If I don't play well, they're going to be looking elsewhere, and that's what I truly believe. So I think Derek Carr kind of has that motivating him. He's been, I mean, like I said, he's been phenomenal. The defense just needs to get a little more consistent, but offensively, they got the firepower they need to battle with Kansas City. And so, again, I still think Kansas City is the better team, will probably still win the division, but there's no reason to think why the Raiders can't be there. So let me set up the AFC West. So the standings are, Chiefs are 4-1, number 1. Raiders right behind at 3-2. Broncos 1-3, and Chargers 1-4. Now remember, Broncos had to have one of their games postponed because of COVID, and that's really another thing that's affecting the NFL. I saw recently the Atlanta Falcons had to shut down their facility because of positive test. In college, Nick Saban, coach of Alabama, has tested positive. So, we're just praying for everybody. But this was the fear going into the NFL season, was, okay, how are you going to get this thing off the ground without a hitch? I mean, yeah, you saw what the NBA did in the NHL with the bubble. You see what the NHL is doing, modifying their season, going to certain locations. The NFL is really the only league so far that is just kind of keeping things normal. Hey, we're going to travel across the country. We're going to play regularly. We're going to, some stadiums are going to allow fans, others aren't, but we're not going to modify in a way our season. We're just going to keep it how it is. And then you see all these cases happening and all these reschedules, and games are on Monday. You have double headers on Monday, some on Tuesday. Things just being shuffled around, and it's kind of, I think, foreshadowing the possibility that we will not be able to finish the season, which is sad. I want the season to finish. I will feel bad if we get, mostly through the season and the team is just sparking at the right time, and then it's like, hey guys, we kind of have to shut it down. That's why I felt so bad last year with the NCAA basketball tournament, because you had teams like San Diego State who went undefeated, or I think they lost one game, but this is a Mountain West team. They're not a Kentucky, they're not a Kansas, they're not a Duke. So it was like surprising, and then it was like, oh, we can't have the tournament because of COVID, and that really, I think, hurt their chances and everything. So I'll feel bad if we get a third of way through the season and then it's like, hey guys, we got to shut down. But at the end of the day, it's all about the safety of the players, the coaches, and just everybody in general. So those are the standings so far. Now you look at the Chargers, 1-4. You're like, oh, okay, they're not that good. All of their losses have been by single digits, and they've lost to some great teams. They lost to the Bucs by 7, who the Raiders play next, but they have a bye this weekend, and then they'll play the Bucs the upcoming week. The Chargers just played the Saints where they had a lead, kind of gave it up. So there's something to be reckoned with. But again, the Raiders, they're looking good, consistently good. And so I really feel if we can get more consistency from the defense, Derek Carr can keep playing the way he's playing. I mean, again, there's no reason why the Raiders shouldn't at least be second in the division. And arguably, after the game they just had against the Chiefs, they could probably win their division as well. Definitely should be able to be a playoff team. Excited, with Las Vegas and the Allegiant Stadium and everything that comes with it. So, yeah, Raiders, you guys, man, coming to Las Vegas, you're really embracing, the fabulousness of Las Vegas. So enjoy your bye week. You deserve it. I predicted you go 1-5 in the first 6 games. You're already 3-2, and hopefully we can make it 4-2 when Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or whatever you want to call them, come to town the following week. All right, pretend this is a flower. It's a $2 bill, but I say flower because Marc-Andre Fleury is staying with our Golden Knights. There was these fears that, oh my gosh, we signed Robin Lehner to a 5-year deal. What does that mean for Fleury? He's on the market. Other teams are looking at him. Fleury, it's been great. I have a special place in it. All this stuff, the Golden Knights said, wait a minute. We are not getting rid of him. Now, he signed a 3-year, $21 million deal in 2018, looking like, okay, he's going to be our main guy. Originally, Robin Lehner was signed earlier this year in 2020, supposed to provide support for Fleury because we had PK Subban. That was the backup to Fleury, and I think they wanted a little more oomph behind Fleury. Subban just... He was great. I love Subban, but I think for the Golden Knights, it just wasn't doing enough. And with Fleury getting older, they're like, we need somebody that can, be a solid backup. So they got Lehner. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, wow, Lehner has really probably exceeded our expectations. Pete DeBoer, let's start him. And then it was kind of like, all right, now he's our main guy. We're kind of forgetting about Fleury, which I didn't like. So general manager Kelly McCrimmon said that, the team did look at other options, but wanted to keep both goalies going forward, especially with the unknown of next season. And when the season is going to start. They said that they're wanting to start on January 1st, but some GMs think that it's not going to happen until the beginning of February. So we'll see what happens. Still a couple months from now. I think obviously, okay, yeah, give the players some rest, give them time to recuperate, and then we can kind of go forward. But I'm excited to hear about this because and we have some other kind of great but disappointing news, and for me personally in the Golden Knights organization. But again, this is a business. Again, back to Fleury. I think this is big. I think that my opinion is Pete DeBoer needs to play both of them. Yes, I get committing to Leonard, but you got to give Fleury some reps as well. I feel in the playoffs it was like, okay, I get Leonard's the main guy and you want to play him a lot, but then we kind of forgot about Fleury, and then we lose in five games to the Dallas Stars, and then people are like, oh well, you should have played Fleury and blah blah blah. He's got the veteran presence, and yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda, who knows? But my thing is, you should have played Fleury more at least. Bounce back between him and Leonard. I mean, and if Fleury's really struggling, hey, we're going to stick with Leonard for these next 2 games, come back to you, whatever. But just more consistency. I'm glad to see he is staying, and that's great. Now I just hope he gets to play more. Let's get into the other big news for our Golden Knights. This is where it gets interesting. So the other big news that pertains to our Vegas Golden Knights is a deal. They signed defensive man Alex Pietrangelo to a 7-year deal worth $8.8 million. You're probably asking, okay, I've never heard of this guy. Well, he came over from the St. Louis Blues, where he's spent his entire career. He won the Stanley Cup with the Blues last year, and in this we had to give up some pretty key players. Paul Stastny we traded to the Winnipeg Jets. And he kind of made a statement saying, like, hey, us as hockey players, we're kind of just pawns on a chessboard just being moved around. Understanding it is a business, saying, he holds no ill will towards the Golden Knights, but I'm sad to see him go. And then I'm really sad to see Schmitty, Nate Schmidt, who has been with the Golden Knights ever since the expansion draft. We have traded him to the Vancouver Canucks, who we beat in 7 games in the second round. So very sad to see him go. And he was very devastated by it. He said it was a tough pill to swallow, and he actually didn't hear anything regarding his trade until the deal was done. So I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like they should have gave him a heads up, like, hey, sorry, pulled him in the office, you've been a big part of our organization, but, we kind of have to, shake up our roster a bit, and we've decided to let you go and trade you. I feel like the Golden Knights should have had a one-on-one conversation. The GM, McCrimmon, should have had a conversation with him, really kind of told him, hey, this is what we're thinking, and whatever. But I feel like the fact that Schmidt doesn't know until the deal is done, I understand why he's hurt. And again, he was saying that, now this wasn't his first NHL team, but he just said, like, there's not a lot of times you start fresh in a new city from the beginning. I mean, again, the Golden Knights were born in 2017 through the expansion draft, and Nate Schmidt was a part of that. And so, to kind of just be let go without notice, I understand it's hurtful. But like he said, like Stastny said, and Schmidt knows as well, it's a business. And so he knows at the end of the day, like, things get done. You might not like it, but that's just the business you're in. And he says, he can't wait to face the Golden Knights, and particularly Jonathan Marchessault, who is a trash talker. Actually, my favorite person on the Golden Knights. So, he this is what he said directly. He said, "I'll speak right to you, Vegas. I'll just say this. Thank you so much for embracing me where I can be my lovable, goofy self. forever a misfit. Our run together is something that can't be matched. I love that. Absolutely. And you can see again that he was very hurt by it, and very sympathetic. He loved being a Golden Knight, and I think many people embraced having him. I definitely did. I just like watching his post game interviews. He always had a smile on his face. Kind of, and he was lovable. He was goofy. He was all that. He encapsulated it all. And so, again, Schmidt, yeah, you're gonna be missed. And I wish you luck with the Canucks, but I understand. Hey, the Golden Knights had to do this in order to get Pietrangelo, which they must have. They must have a lot of confidence in him. So let me tell you who are the remaining Golden Knights from the expansion draft, because it's dwindling, further and further down. There's about 8 players left from the original team. We have Riley Smith, Shea Theodore, Alex Tuck, my guy Jonathan Marchessault, William Karlsson, Tomas Nosek, John Merle, and of course, Marc-Andre Fleury, who the Golden Knights just announced, hey, we're keeping. So again, not a lot of players. You're probably asking, what about Ryan Reeves? No, Ryan Reeves actually was involved in a trade in 2018, so we did not have him in the expansion draft. It just really goes to show a lot happens in 3 years. And, we knew, obviously, the team that we originally built wasn't always going to stay together. No team ultimately does. You like to keep key players, but at the end of the day, you got to get rid of, kind of shake up your roster to make key changes. Does this make the Golden Knights better? They must think so. They signed him to a 7-year deal. I think, he does bring, obviously, that championship pedigree, and, he's won. Same with, Chandler Stevenson, who's on the team, who won with the Capitals against the Golden Knights back in 2018. So I feel like, now we're starting to get some guys that, hey, they've been there, they've done that. Hopefully they can bring that magic to the Golden Knights. I feel like the Golden Knights have been primed from the beginning to win it all. The magical inaugural run they had, and then even this year, again, you could argue they should have. Give props to Dallas, but I feel like they had enough to get past Dallas and get to the Stanley Cup. Who knows? Would they have beaten Tampa? I don't know. Tampa was really great this year. So hopefully this deal does help the Golden Knights. Again, holding on to Fleury's key, saying bye to Schmitty and Paul Stastny are huge losses, but we'll see if the Golden Knights won or lost this deal. Hard to tell right now until we start playing again. But that is all from this week. UNLV football does get started next week, so that is when I'm gonna cover that. And we'll get into that. But that's all for this week. I told you I am a huge Ariana Grande fan. I know, I have a shirt. It's from the Sweetener Tour. I went back last year when tours were happening and allowed, and she is just so incredible. And I promised myself, if she ever comes back, if she ever goes on tour again, my goal is to meet her. Just take a picture and just be in awe of the whole moment. But I'll stop my Ari rant. I hope you have an incredible week. I will speak to you again soon. Please take care of yourselves. Yeah. All right.